Well, joining me now to discuss all of the varied news we have this morning is the Conservative MP for Boston and Skegness, Matt Warman. Welcome to the programme, Matt. First of all, we've got to talk about the Chancellor's statement tomorrow. There's been a lot of speculation as to what may be in it. What measures would you like to see to ease the cost of living?
Well, I think you're absolutely right to say the cost of living is the main thing the Chancellor needs to address. When I talk to my constituents, the thing that comes up time and time again is the cost of fuel. And that is not just the cost of petrol and diesel, but also things like heating oil, gas and electricity as well. So I think what I'd like to see is a package of measures that addresses those issues. We've seen some headlines over the weekend around cutting VAT on fuel, for instance. I don't think it necessarily has to specifically be that, but something that addresses those sorts of issues would be something that tackles what is really frightening people at the moment about monthly outgoings.
Yeah, there's been a lot of criticism of this Chancellor that potentially he might be taking with one hand and giving back with another. Is it tax cuts that you'd like to see rather than spending handouts? Because, of course, there's that national insurance rise that seems to be coming down the road in any case.
Well, I think the Chancellor's been pretty clear that the national insurance rise has to stay, and that is because ultimately we've got to pay in the long term for social care and in the short term for the NHS backlog. I think everyone does support getting that backlog under control, but there are things that we could do about making sure that it doesn't hit the lowest paid in particular. There are things that I hope the Chancellor can do around the threshold for when it kicks in, that sort of thing, where we do, I think, very clearly see that the ground has shifted from when we were talking about these things in the very first instance a few months ago. And I think that the Chancellor has been very keen to listen, and I think we will see some results around that tomorrow. But ultimately, all of these bits of expenditure do have to be paid for. And so I think we need a bit of a balance that says tax cuts are obviously what we would like to all see, but they can't come without recognising that there's a lot of appetite for serious public spending to redress COVID, and that has to be paid for in the long term.
I suppose